Vaping with the Ohmies. 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 Welcome everybody, welcome to the show. Let me introduce you to some dudes in case you don't know. First we got Aziz all the way from Kuwait. Always got a point when it's time for debate. Oh my Lanta, some call him Dan. Got the dad jokes in the palm of his hand. Boom Sauce McNasty got his eyes on the news. Got his ear to the streets and he's down for the crew. Next up is Clown, the DIY king. Got a juice line and some coils that sing. Then there's a bear who's smarter than average. Quick with a wit, his name Vapor Swaggins. Then there's the homie, we know him as Frames. And too many guests to remember the names. Together they make up this killer vape panel. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Vaping with the Ohmies. 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 Vaping with the Ohmies.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Vaping with the Ohmies. What's in the news, Poon Sauce? Alright guys, it's that time for Dan's dad joke of the week.
Boom. Hopefully that worked. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. I believe we're on episode 14, season 2, Vaping with the Ohmies. Of course, you know, we got most of the Ohmies here, still missing Aziz, bro. If you're out there, we miss you, bro. Come back, please, dude. Or, you know, we might have to do something to the intro for a while. But of course, we do have a guest joining us tonight. One of our amazing sponsors, my man Chase from OPMH, is in the house to come hang out with us. So of course, we're going to be talking to him and about some, you know, some cool stuff coming there our way from them. But we will do well, I guess that's already kind of a little bit of a shout out for OPMH. Of course, you guys already know we're glad to announce that we are partnered with OPMH, bringing you guys all the, you know, the delicious juices from the Fountain line, the Real Deal Custard, and Watson. They also do some distributing of, you know, Transistor, Prohibition. I believe they got some Primitive and stuff like that as well. So if you guys are looking for some wholesale type stuff, you can go check them out at opmhproject.com. And of course, you can pick up some of, you know, the Fountain and stuff like that over on IVC, Independent Vapor Company, our other amazing sponsor. I'm just going to go ahead and skip the bumpers this week, guys, because well, might as well just do it straight up. But yeah, IVC, go take advantage, guys. They've got crazy deals on their juice lines right now. I believe they got like 120 mil. Is it 100 mils or 120 mils for like $11.99, Dan? It's one of those.
Huh? I wasn't listening. What?
I said, what's the? You guys dropped the prices on the liquids over there.
60 mils are $9.99. That's all the Millionaire series, and Millennium Vapes is also $9.99. The 100 mils are $11.99. That's red, white, blue, black label. The Last Machine, Cream Supreme, Motown Sweets, DUJC, which is Detroit Underground. Did I miss any? Oh, and Nilly and 100 mils as well. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you.
Go back to beating level 49 on Snake on your old Nokia.
Yeah.
Dude, I have my old Nokia phone. I'm about to charge it.
The bricks, bro. Those things are indestructible, man.
Oh, for anyone that still has that phone, brick, the first level, if you hold it all the way to the left, the level will complete itself. You're welcome.
Boom. Pro tip from Oh My Lanta. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go ahead and slide into them buffets, tell you guys what we're vaping on tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pass it off to Poon Sauce McNasty this week. What you got? You know, what are you vaping on, bro?
Where would I vaping to? Okay, first setup I got going is my little homage to Swaggins. My 18650 X2 with the Hadley on top. And inside of there, I got some free range vapor, Bad Mother Clucker. And then, what else? I got the Enforcer out. DHD tip, of course, because it just looks fucking awesome on there.
Oh, would you look at that?
Looks like a
And
bit
inside of there, I got some Foster by Transistor.
Foster.
And then finally back home again for the second time. I got
Third
Tormod,
time.
my Aspen mod, with 3-core Rebel on top. Holy crap, I got the juices mixed up. Holy crap, okay. Enforcer has Cycle Crawler in it.
No one cares.
The Aspen Mod Co. has
You know you're
Foster.
not actually vaping any of these, so don't worry.
Right.
Wow, that's harsh. Okay.
Corey's not even vaping. That's just digital. It's just digital clouds.
Yeah, those are pieces of paper that are green screened in.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I'm going to pass it the cloud.
Should I go?
Hold on,
James?
hold on.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to fix the stream here. Something happened.
Hold,
I like
please.
how Vapor for Life says that's gorgeous.
Let me see here. Do this.
Everybody looks great except for Poon Sauce.
Of course.
Is that better? Did I fix
Got a
it?
booger in your nose. It's gone.
Sorry, guys. I had a little bit of a hiccup here in OBS, but I think I figured it out. I think we're good to go.
There we are.
Are we back, guys? Sorry about that. Dangle clacks. Dangle clacks.
Dangle clacks.
Hashtag
Did anybody
freeze
hear
frames.
what Poon Sauce had to say?
If
Now,
not, he didn't know
X1
either. Move on.
X1 if you care. X2 if you don't.
I'm just going to go. How about that? I'm just going to go with.
I X1'd. I care.
Well, it was nice having you on the show tonight. Goodbye.
It wasn't even an option for X2, Dan. Shut up.
Yeah, there was. You just didn't listen again.
Fuck.
Fun.
So, anyways, you done, Corey?
Oh, yeah, and I'm drinking some tasty apple juice.
Very
All
nice.
right.
Very
That's
nice.
all I got.
Pass it off,
Clown,
bro.
what do you got?
You passed it to Clown.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Hexome number 6 in my collection, Goon on top. And in that, I got from my own thing, Blue Sin. Then next, we got, was it the Axial Overlord combo thing going on right there? And then that, I got the Fountain Blast Off. Oh, yeah. And then lastly, we're going to go with K-Fun. Was it Baby Ness? And in that, I got a juice I'm working on. And yeah, hopefully that comes out pretty soon. Take it away, Swags.
Yo, sorry, I was just checking to see if I had juiced up this
Sorry I caught you in an unfortunate
atomizer.
moment.
It's okay. It's my own fault, I assume. Usually, it's my fault.
I try to make sure you don't go last or second to last.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. The longer it takes, the more that I forget what I'm vaping on and I have to reach for things. So this, to start, is the Kronig by Kronig Mods out of Sweden. The 1860 Wonker, and on top is the Typhoon BTD. And inside of that, I have 5150 Detox, which is one of my new favorite flavors. It's a apple crisp creme brulee.
Ooh.
Next, I'm vaping on the Pug with the Gear RTA on top, and inside of that, I have my personal favorite from the Fountain line, Coated, which is a Mountain Dew coated flavor, and I really enjoy this, despite what anybody else will say.
Delish.
And lastly, I'm vaping on the Cycloid version 2.1 by Geometric Design or Geomods, and on top I have the Skyfall in the DLC configuration, and inside of that I've got my Ride or Die Tango Melon, my all day every day, and that bottle's almost done, so I need to buy some more. So that's me. Actually, what else do I got? I've got the I've got the Orchid with this just came in because I'm moving off those Nick salts finally, and I got a 12 milligram of Dragon Shake by Vinny, aka Eric Vinyl and Vapor, and that's really good. If you want yourself to get, if you love the flavor of Dragon Shake or even Psycho Crawler, I've got that here too in another pod. try those out because they're just as flavorful and you get that nice throat hit. So that's me. Thanks. And who hasn't gone? Dan?
Chase.
Chase hasn't gone. Chase, our special guest. Chase, what you got?
I have not gone. So for me personally, I'm vaping on just a very different hexes, but I have the fountain hexomes who I normally run everything on with the Crown 4 on top. But I am running my ride or die. It's Tango, of course.
Nice.
And then I do as well run the salts in my Orchid. It is podless right now, but what I normally run in it is the Watson Gold. It's one of the new releases that we have in our salts.
Butterscotch.
And then I'm sorry not to do this to you, but this is also another one that I do consistently.
Yeah, man. What are the levels in that? Does it come in like a 30 or a 25?
Yeah, so basically the way that we did it is when we were releasing salts, we wanted to do it basically the correct way. What we were noticing is that a lot of companies were coming out with just 25 and a 50. There wasn't really that middle variance for people who were trying to work off of a 50 milligram down. And so basically we did a 48 as the highest, a 36 as the median, and then a 24 as the lowest.
Awesome.
Yeah, so then it basically supplements into the 12 milligram because we do offer the fountain and the Watson lines in the 03612. It's
What?
basically
dude.
Yes.
I've never even checked for a 12. I've never even.
you guys didn't know that?
No.
I know what one of my new pod juices is. Blast off for the win.
But Dan, you're not keeping them up with that? Come on, I feel like that's a you thing.
Man, you're in the group too, man. Lay it out there, all right? I run a shop, all right? This is your job, all right?
Assistant to the
He
regional
runs
manager.
a shop.
I knew that there was a 12. Sorry, I didn't pass that along. But they all have a list of what you have. They should have known as well. That's all.
Sorry, but responsibility lies on you, Dan.
Oh, son
You
of
are
a-
the juice
always
dude.
I did my responsibility this weekend babysitting Corey, okay?
I'll split the blame 50-50 with you.
There was no babysitting. Let's get
All
that
That's all
out.
you got?
But yeah, that's basically me. That's what I'm running on today, or what I normally run on.
Very
All
nice.
right.
What you got, Dano?
I have new news.
Ooh,
So no one's. I just got these. I have another Monarch. This is
What?
that's Treebeard. I have him. He is now mine, with an Axial on top, and that I have Blast Off for the win. I have my Asmodus Kodama
Ooh,
with the K-Fun Prime.
Ooh, that's the gunmetal one too.
Yes, it is. When I opened that, I was like, ooh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
really
sexy.
cool. In that, I have VPN Blue Slushy 12 milligram. And last but not least, I have the BMI. Grim
Dude, you
Green,
bought that whole lot, huh?
This is number one. Where is it at?
Dude,
Right there. Number one.
son of a bitch.
The Dead Goat on top. And in that, I have my Nostalgia Juice. This is the juice that got me to say bye-bye to cigarettes. And this is from Teardrop. This is Revenge of the Geeks. And it's like, the best way I can describe it is Skittles, but like the tropical flavor, like the purple bag that you get at the store. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
The grossest one.
Not in my eyes. Not in my eyes. And that's what I got tonight. So I'll pass it over to James.
All right, I got a couple setups here real quick. First off, I've got my Monarch as well, Shed Time, and I changed it up. It don't have the Turk V2 on there right now. It's actually got the Asgard Mini 25. Of course, got the Moss Chop Top, and it's some of that Boule Bolu, Banana Land, Banana Sponge Cake. Love this stuff. Next setup I have the Vert by Unicorn, the Constant Contact. I switched up, put the Turk V2 on top of here. Got that Stay Gold Chop Top on there. And I've got some Burst Duo. Shout outs to my man Dan, because he sent this my way because he knows that I like some dragon fruit stuff. And this is probably one of the best dragon fruit flavors that I've tried. Really
That guava is so good.
It's really good. And last setup, brought this back out. The Ronin X2 with the Ardent and Hybrid. Yeah, guys. The Ardent does hybridize to the Ronin. I think I'm actually the person that figured this out. I was just looking at it one day, noticed that the threading was almost the same, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it, and it works. And with some vanilla custard from my man Overdrip on the inside, this is an absolute banging setup right here. And last but not least, I do got a pod system kicking here, doing some testing on this. I'm actually going to be dropping the video probably on Wednesday for this More Pro pod system from Desire. And I've got some 12 milligram vanilla custard from Overdrip in there as well. And that's pretty much it for me. Let's see here. What we're going to do, guys, is after I'm done knocking everything over on my desk, is we're going to go and move into that favorite segment, everybody's favorite segment. What's in the news, Poon Sauce?
Okay, so we all know how back probably a few months ago, Hawaii had a little win against vaping legislation where they beat a tobacco. What was it? A ban that was supposed to happen earlier this year, so they beat that. But now there's something new that came out, and looks like that they've shown some from the State Department of Health that kind of, there's some statistics I want to read off to you guys that kind of brings into the main topic I want to talk about here. It says their statistics shows that 1 out of every 6 public middle school students in Hawaii has used an e-cigarette, and 1 in every 4 high schoolers have vaped. And I'm not sure if it's been like still vaping or not, but it was reported by Dr. Jerome Adams, the U.S. Surgeon General, we all know is widely against vaping. So there's a little thing I want to bring up to you guys, because we all know, like, when people bring out these statistics and everything, we're not 100% sure, or we're probably confident that they're not reputable. They're not reliable sources and everything. So I wanted to play a little bit of devil's advocate thing that I want to get your guys' opinion on. So let's just go and say that these sources they got were reputable and were something that people, where it's something where the source is somewhere we know of, and it's something that, okay, they've done the research, they've done everything, and the research is actually correct. So playing devil's advocate here, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are for, instead of having the government figure out what to do about if there was a vaping epidemic for real, what would us as a community ourselves have to do to fight against this? Because we all know that people underage shouldn't be vaping, shouldn't be even getting their hands on the stuff, but it's going to happen still. But what do you think we as a community, as consumers, should do to, if this was an actual thing, to fight against it?
All right. That was the longest question ever.
Yes.
But I'm glad, because you gave me the answer that I was going to give to you in your question. I think that we've all said that we're a fan of good regulation. I think that starting to look at what's currently in place that they're currently doing with our nearest neighbor market, which is tobacco. You know, we are not tobacco, despite what the FDA wants to say, etc. What they're doing or have done for decades, for a century, if you will, for the last 50 years to regulate, that industry. They should be looking at that and trying to find ways to do that with our industry, reasonable ways, especially with those who are underage, not raising it by 4 years. How is that going to change anything other than making the gap higher, etc.? But that's my answer. Look at the current trends in the other market and how they were regulated, and then use that as your foundation for creating functional and fair regulation for the vaping industry.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
See, my thoughts is, I was trying to think of ways to where us as a community can try to curb the problem or fix the problem without having to get legislations involved. And I'm still trying to figure that out, if there was an actual thing.
I've got another answer for you. What about CASA? What about these organizations that are nonprofits? I've said this before, but I'll repeat it really, hopefully concisely here. Why don't they spend some of their resources to create literature for parents, for communities, for schools, that has the right language and the right, kind of Danielle Jones, if you will, graphic design to show in a very palatable way what the statistics really are. Instead of alarming people with misinformation, give them the right information and strategies to work with their kids to incentivize them not to be vaping or smoking before they're of age. That's what I think about that specifically.
Vapor for Life Jen put in there saying she want authorized dealers only, brick and mortars, no gas stations, no nothing, only authorized vapor product shops. Do you guys agree with that, or do you guys have a different opinion on that?
Well, see, I think this is something we've actually kind of touched on in previous shows as well. Is like, part of me does not want this stuff in these, corner stores or these gas stations and stuff, because it does grant a little bit easier access to, teenagers or youth or whatever you want to say. But at the same time, they're also there for the people that aren't going to be going into a smoke shop, like the smoker who's going to be able to walk in and see this stuff up there with the cigarettes and be like, well, hey, maybe I should give this a shot. You know what I mean? And it's having it there puts that idea into their head, like, well, hey, maybe I'll grab one of these and a pack of cigarettes and, try it out. And the next thing you know, the next time they go in there, they're just buying that pod system or whatever again, instead of buying that pack of cigarettes. So it's like, it's like a given, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? It's just take it out completely to, keep the kids from getting it, but also restrict it from, the smokers that would be coming in and be seeing it on the shelves. But, it's I don't know.
Also, the other thing is, vape shops are only open to a certain time. We're only open till 9 p.m. You know what I mean? Some people close at 8, some people close at 10. With it being in gas stations, you do give that customer a chance to make a better decision when they're at the counter. Like, you know what? Give me one of those. I'm going to try this out, whether it be a Juul or not.
Well, I mean, just adding
to get people off cigarettes. We don't want people smoking anymore. Look what the UK is doing with putting vape shops inside of hospitals, and they plan to be smoke-free by 2030. Why can't we do that? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I got to say about that.
Chase, what's your opinion on this, of how it should either... Would you prefer it to stay in vape shops, or what do you think about the convenience of it being in gas stations and all that kind of thing?
I mean, obviously, it's hard for me, just being on the manufacturer's standpoint, to ultimately, want to be in all the city stores and want to be in all the gas stations, plus online, plus the brick and mortars. Eventually, my products are going to be part of the issue at some point in time. So for us specifically, or for me specifically, we would want, we've noticed that with, teenage usage or kids getting their hands on them, there's basically the way that they're doing it is either A, stealing their mom's credit card and then, just having it randomly delivered to their house. That's one way that kids are getting around it. Or B, having somebody go into the shop, buy it for them. C, the shop just doesn't card.
I actually have something to add to that. So basically, that same exact scenario happened to my sister this past weekend. My sister works at a vape shop, literally just 5 minutes down the road. And this woman walks in with her kid who's under the age of, under the legal vaping age here in California, because you have to be 21 years or older. Yeah. And she comes in and she's trying to buy vape stuff for her kid. And my sister literally says, well, is this for you or is this for him? She's like, oh, well, it's for him. Well, I can't sell it to you. Well, like, he was trying to tell her what to get, and she's like, I can't. And then the lady was literally sitting there getting pissed off, and she's like, it is against the law for me to sell something to you knowing that you're going to give it to your kid. I already know you're going to do it, so regardless of if he goes and sits in the car, I cannot sell to you. I'm not going to sell to you.
Yeah, and that's basically just making sure that the vape shops, and because through our experience, the vape shops are the brick and mortars are the people that are, doing it correctly as far as we can see. And, the grand total of numbers and the data, the brick and mortar shops are the ones who are doing it just more or less correctly to a higher extent than anybody else. When it comes to online ordering, you're basically, they want companies to start paying extra money, or having the consumer pay extra money for a signature at the door. And basically it's going to continue to add up over time. So, as people have these lower prices online, and when people come into vape shops, they say, oh, well, I can buy this online for this price. Okay, well, at the same time, they don't have the overhead. At the same time, it's convenience. And at the same time, now we are moving towards, part of 2019 where you guys are going to have to be paying applicable shop prices just to get it online. At the end of the day, a lot of these online stores, and this kind of moves more into advocacy and everything, but a lot of those online stores don't, relatively speaking, give to advocacy, while a lot of these brick and mortar shops do. And so at the end of the day, when you go into a vape shop, you are basically helping keep vaping alive. Not to say that not all online shops don't do that, but a very large majority of them don't. You know, I don't have a list in front of me, but that's basically what.
Dude, I got people coming in the shop all the time, and they'll say like, "I'm looking for this." I'm like, "Well, I don't have that." And I'll have regulars, and I'm like, "This is where you can get it online if that's where you want to shop." He's like, "Dude, you guys have helped me throughout the years. I want to support you guys. When you get into the shop, you just let me know, and I'll come buy it." I'm like, "That's awesome, man." They know they're gonna pay a little bit more, but they like keeping, they keep us open, the customers that come in, and they help us out and we help them out. You can't go online and order something and get like, okay, well, is this a good product or something like that? Like if you come in and
get that face
talk
to
to
face.
me and I've tested a bunch of stuff and I can tell you stuff, and you know what I mean? It's what makes brick and mortars great. You got knowledge right there behind the counter telling you what's good and what's not, and what you should spend your money on and what you'll be happy with. Because I don't want to see you come back. I don't want you to buy something and come back in a month and need a new mod. I don't want you throwing money down a hole. I want you to get longevity out of it, and then if you want something else, you'll come back to me. Or if you do break that mod down the road, it was good, and you'll come back to me and I'll sell you something else. And
I can't even attest to that, because literally, when was it, this weekend, Dan? Or was it last weekend? We were literally hanging out in our Discord server on the weekend. Dan's at the shop, and he has someone come in who's interested in the Caliburn, right?
That was last week.
Dan's never used a Caliburn. He didn't know anything about it, but he's seen that.
I had him at the shop.
But he's seen that I was in there, and I just put my review out for it. So I literally sat there and talked to the dude over Discord that was at the shop about the Caliburn. He's like, well, how's the battery life on it? Well, how are the pods? This, and that. Next thing you know, the guy's walking out with that Caliburn.
And I'm just holding the phone up so he can talk to James pretty much through Discord. I'm like, hold it. He was like, I'm going to go look up reviews. I got something better.
But that just shows that if Dan doesn't have...
I will tell you personally right now.
That just shows that Dan goes above and beyond, because even though he didn't have an answer directly on that product, he's like, well, hey, I know someone that does. Here, talk to him about it. And then, you know what I mean? Like, that shows good, that's good business practice right there. You know what I mean? I don't have the info, but let me show you where to find it.
Pick those up. They're great.
I will say, like, shop education is something very important, just because at least the shops around here are very poor at that. I went in once looking for a 510 drip tip. The guy asked me if those are the ones that go on the smock tanks. I almost slapped the motherfucker.
Honestly, like, that's a good point, Clown. Like, if you guys are, pretty knowledgeable and you've been in like the hobbyist side of things, I'm pretty sure you guys know, the basics. Go into your local vape shops, hang out, inform the people that work there, because like Clown says, there's a lot of these shops out there that the people that work there don't really know what they're selling or what all it is. Like he said, you walk in there looking for a 510 drip tip and they're like, oh, is that for a baby beast? Because they don't know. You know what I mean?
You have the Smoke Beast V16. I want to chuck clouds, guys.
Yeah, it's like my sister. She continuously comes and asks me questions because she knows I'm pretty enveloped into this stuff, and she's like, oh, well, we just got this in. Have you heard anything about it? Or we're thinking about picking. Like, she goes out of her way to research what she's gonna have at the shop. So if someone comes in and asks her about that product, she could tell them what. And the ins and outs of it, like how the coils last, or if is it better for mouth to lung or direct to lung, or are you a high wattage vapor? Like, she's starting to learn those, like, what questions to ask, and what products are better suited for what. And it's just, that's what we need to see, in the shops. Like, there are a lot of people out there that do go above and beyond, and like there's Nick, Daily Vape TV, he does it as well.
We need to create a video on VHS too, not digital or anything, just on VHS. And there's an old TV in a back closet. And every time that you have a new employee, you go in there and you sit and you
training
watch
video.
Dude,
exactly.
Vape shop training.
We need like an old school vape, but it needs to be like made now, but look like it was made in the 80s.
Dan, I want you in a blue shirt with a black tie doing this video.
You ever seen the movie Waiting when the kid's watching the video?
Yeah.
Mitch is watching the video and he's just like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's super funny.
It needs to be like
That's what we
absurdly
need.
long too. It needs to be like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Come in for orientation. Sit down and watch this video. Don't fall asleep. You can do it fun.
To kind of touch on something here in chat, Shane Oakley says he's like, I'd much rather buy at my B&M or my brick and mortar, but the ones around here just don't have a lot of selection for the hobby side.
They're gonna have sub-ohm tanks,
and that's the downfall of, you know,
for the most part.
That's the downfall of the local. The hobbyist side of vape shots has kind of died off in the past few years, and I've seen it just in the, you know, small period of time that I've been vaping. Because like Dan says, you're not seeing as many RDAs and RTAs and stuff on the shelves as much as you're seeing these pod systems and these sub-ohm tanks, because those are the people that are going in. They're coming in, they want their smart coil, and then they're out. You know what I mean?
I keep a couple in the shop, like the Rebirth RTA, the Gear RTA. I keep a couple different options. That way, when that guy finally comes in, is like, dude, I'm tired of buying another coil for my sub-ohm tank. I'm sick of it. So what else do you got? That's my opening. I show them that there's a different world out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Real quick, too.
Better.
Chris Storm, a.k.a. Tuna, says, Vaping with the Ohmies, can you shout out my shop? He's like Smoke Free Nation in Elderberg, Maryland. Jerry and Matt, it's a BM. They're amazing, and they have a hobby for hobby and newbies. That's awesome, dude. Shout outs to Smoke Free Nation out there in Eldersburg, Maryland. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading. My chat's real small today. But yeah, dude, shout outs to them. It's like, yeah, if you guys ever want shop shout outs or stuff, tag us. We'll shout your shop out. We'll show some love.
I want to touch on one more thing. Swag was
Absolutely.
talking about Kassan making these pamphlets and stuff. I think that's a phenomenal
I did
idea.
want to touch on that too.
I don't know if we can do it. Can we? Because I mean, there's points about us not being able to talk about vaping stuff, right? Like, I'm just saying. But if there's a pamphlet out there, give me 100 of them, man. I will go hand that shit. Give me 5,000 of them. I will go hand them out to high schools around my area to get the word out.
That's actually something that a lot of different people and different companies have actually reached out to us to see if we could put something together. And so it is actually something that a lot of different states, different organizations, different shops are wanting to have put together. So that is actually something that OPMH is going to carry through with here in the next couple of weeks. We just have to get it all organized with the correct data.
We can get you in touch with some people to talk to that can help out with this, I feel.
Perfect. Yeah, but basically the only reason why nothing has come up to the public's eye is specifically because on the manufacturing side, we are still dealing with the FDA, and now we're dealing with the legislators. And so there is 1.5 million, different types of verbiages that we have put out, but all of them are specifically for legislators. None of them have really been for consumers. Just we got to pick and
focus. Do this, Chase. Sorry to cut you off, but I wanted to say this before when Dan was talking, but actually, the Everyday Vapor. He messaged me a link. He said that Kassan already has materials like this. And so I looked at it. I mean, and they do have some materials. They have I Vape, I Vote, testimonials, stuff like that. But I'm thinking more on the lines of educational stuff, like for families and kids. Like I my mom's an educator. I know the schools really well. I know the education really well, let's just say. And there's a lot of stuff that like they do for digital citizenship, like for kids signing contracts for making sure, like pledging to like do not, to be good digital citizens, not bullying people, not stealing stuff, not all that kind of stuff. Basically that kind of verbiage for kids, for like age appropriate, for like K to 5. I mean, obviously you don't need that, but like middle school, high school, let's sign this contract. Let's talk about this. Guidance counselors can talk with parents, stuff like that. Like a sort of like pamphlet, if you will, that needs to be made.
Yeah, and so that's basically what we were focusing on was the education. So obviously there's a lot of stigma out right now. Just there's different groups that have been popping up. PAVE is one of them, where it's the Parents Against Vaping Epidemic or something like that. Yeah. But basically, when you do more research into these companies, it's actually funny because they're supported and funded by Big Tobacco.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make sense. But we're still having to deal with these companies who are funded by Big Tobacco. Truth.org is another one. that basically are just putting out, slandering the vape industry and specifically marketing what they're doing towards adolescents. So even if this whole epidemic by numbers didn't exist, it would still be being brought up in the media's attention or in the public's eye because of these different groups. So basically what we're planning on doing is basically putting together an educational pamphlet, exactly like you were talking about.
Awesome.
Hoping to get that same material, and basically to do exactly what you're saying is to educate from the bottom up. It's incredibly unfortunate, just the bad stigma that vaping is getting. But at the end of the day, we never marketed to kids. And if anything like that came off, for the industry as a whole, we apologize. We made the adjustment. It's something that we're still having to deal with. So we're slowly moving past it, and education is really going to be the best way to do it.
That's any industry, though. Any industry that booms,
especially
like our industry,
a new industry,
you have to come back. Like if you have like rollerball comes out, and you have mechanical, roller skates, and all these kids are getting them, or adults, and it's dangerous, and all of a sudden it becomes a pro sport. Like MMA became a pro sport. It's like all of a sudden you need to regulate it because you don't want people getting hurt or dying.
The crazy thing is that you can dull it down. You can dull it down to something as simple as fidget spinners. Do you remember 2 or 3 years ago when every single kid in high school started to use fidget spinners, and everybody started blasting them saying, "Hey, this is not what they were designed for. This is not what they're used for. Kids actually need these in school to help them stay focused."
Yeah.
Literally, it's very, very similar, very identical. It's just, you're right. Just any industry. It's just the way that it is now.
Right. Cool.
Funny that you were saying this, everything, how like Chase, how you're saying OPMH is trying to take the steps to do this stuff. I think we haven't really touched on you with OPMH as a whole, how you got involved with them, how
Let's talk about Chase for a minute. Let's know about him, where he comes from, how he found vaping. All the good stuff about Chase. His obsession with ranch at the end. Let's go.
Yes,
we can touch on that. So basically, with me and vaping, I played college baseball. I played professional baseball for a few years after college, and I was dipping. I had hammers in like there was no tomorrow. Even when I started to move away from baseball and I started to hypothetically retire, I was still dipping. I was going to my 9-to-5 job. I still had hammers in. It started to get to the point where I carried on, my addiction from my sport to, my daily life. And then eventually I was laying in bed at midnight, with a hammer. It's not healthy. It leaves a mess. It doesn't smell good. It's not something that I wanted to continue with. And so I basically moved into vaping. I vaped off and on for multiple years while I was, still dipping. But it really just took a hold for me. And so I actually was approached by a couple different manufacturers, chose to follow through with OPMH when they were still, coming up a few years ago, and just absolutely fell in love with the juice, everything that they do for the industry as a whole. There's a lot of companies that give the advocacy, and I mean, there is a list and a half that we basically do because we want to make sure that, the industry was started by smokers to help smokers, live healthier lives. And that's basically what we want to do. And so that's why I got into the industry. It was for me, but now it's obviously extended into helping other people. My grandfather died of lung cancer, so I mean, it does, residually affect with me. So that's ultimately why I moved into vaping. With OPMH, basically one of their sales managers, I help with a lot of the operations in terms of marketing and overall sales. So that's basically what I help with a lot of the different operations just to make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Very nice, very nice. One question we like to ask our guests as well is like how did you find vaping though? Like, was it something you just stumbled upon on your own, or was it something that somebody introduced to you, or did you just see a video online? It's always an interesting question I like to ask people, is just how they came out and actually found vaping in itself.
Yes. So unfortunately, I was one of the basically when I first got into vaping, I was, I think, 15 or 16, local gas station, back in the day with those C-cell batteries. That's honestly how I got into it. I started with, those tiny little hookah pens, and I was like, oh, I can get a little nicotine rush off of this, and it tastes like blueberries. Like, sweet.
Yeah.
And so basically that kind of evolved for me into basically the mods and the setups that I'm using now. I've basically just matured in the vaping industry. But unfortunately, everything that I talk about, not wanting to do in terms of, underage kids getting their hands on certain products, I was one of those kids.
But let me ask you this question though. But at that time, were you dipping?
Oh yeah, I dipped my freshman year of high school all the way through college. I mean, like a solid 9+ years of dipping. It got to the point where I was dipping in class, and instead of spitting, because the professors in college wouldn't let me spit, I would just stomach my dip. That's not healthy either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but the addiction was there, so I had to supplement somehow.
Yeah.
But the main reason why I brought that up is because it's not like you just went and did this just to do it. It's like you were dipping at the time, you know what I mean? And you found this, and I don't know if at the time you knew that it was a healthier alternative or thought it might be or what, but you ended up ultimately changing that and eventually getting you off the dip, I could imagine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you're, tobacco free. Of course, you're still getting your nicotine that may be derived from tobacco, but that's just the nicotine. You're not getting any of the other chemicals and stuff that comes along with it.
Exactly. I mean, the way that I think about it, and I hope a lot of other people think about it this way too, is that, nicotine isn't what's bad for you in these products. I mean, obviously, a foreign substance in your body isn't going to be the healthiest thing in the world, but, with tomatoes, potatoes, a lot of different types of fruits, there are trace amounts of nicotine in those fruits, or in those vegetables. I mean, nicotine is literally derived from most plant-based sources. You are taking in trace amounts of nicotine no matter what you're eating, if it's a vegetable or a fruit.
Right.
And so basically we are using a tobacco-based nicotine. Some people use the potato-based nicotines. It really just depends. But either way, nicotine isn't really what's bad for you. It's the combustibles, and there's over 7,000 different types of ingredients, with over 60 of them being known to cause cancer. All of them being combustibles. But
also it's the format. It's combustion, right?
Exactly.
So even if it was just nicotine, what he's clarifying here is that it's okay. But once again, we want to also cover ourselves and say in moderation.
Exactly.
Absolutely. You can always take anything, too far.
If you ate too many tomatoes, you'd probably get sick.
Tobacco?
If you drink too much water, you can die. Just remember that, people.
Yeah.
So one other question we kind of got for you, Chase, is I know, I've heard from the grapevine that there's some new stuff coming to OPMH very soon. Is there anything that you can kind of, let the chat know about?
Yeah, so I figured this group or this live video would be the perfect time to introduce those new flavors. So you guys will be the first group that we have formally introduced the flavors to. Nice. But basically, we are planning 2 new flavors in the fountain line. So we are extending it to 5 flavors. It is right now the Baja Blast Coated, which is the Code Red Mountain Dew, and then Cherry Ice, which is a white cherry mystery slushy. No menthol, no colada, by the way. And now we're extending it into 2 more flavors. It is basically going to be the original Lowdown Lime. So the original green Mountain Dew, we are finally turning that one into a juice. It's a blessing. I'm freaking excited.
I'm so stoked.
And it's not green. They're not using food coloring, even though
no food coloring. We're gonna stick with the same format that we have with the other juices. Clear. It's just that we don't want to add food coloring to it. It's an extra. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's gaudy. Don't do it.
Yeah. And then the second flavor that we are doing is a tropical punch. So it's more or less going to play off of kind of a pink lemonade, but it is more or less going to be just a very vibrant tropical punch.
I'm
interested.
Yep.
Right. If you want a profile that's kind of going to match it, the closest thing from the lab test that we have gotten, I would say, is literally like the fruit punch Kool-Aid. Like, it is very, very spot on to that.
Very nice.
And obviously, it is going to have its own fountain twist on the back end with the carbonation too.
Nice.
Very exciting. Yeah. I'm super stoked to try that out because many people out there in chat know how much I love Blast Off. Bottle 13, 14, and 15 are on their way, guys. Now I'm gonna be cracking through those pretty quick. But the original Mountain Dew is one of my. It's honestly my go-to beverage. OG Mountain Dew all day, every day. It's like that's my jam. You know what I mean? So I'm super stoked that you guys decided to actually do a just straight up Mountain Dew flavor. So I'm definitely gonna be getting my hands on that, and who knows, that might be the next juice that I kill like 15 bottles of, like with the quickness. So I'm super stoked about it.
I'm excited, and so I think when we move forward and start releasing that to the public, we're shooting for an end of August, but it is ever so slightly shaky just with the new flavors. We want to make sure that we're doing it right. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea when we first release those. We'll give you guys a little hand on a giveaway for them, and you guys can do a giveaway raffle on them.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. Which actually does lead me into one of our next points. We are doing a giveaway that is sponsored by Vaping with the Ohmies that is going to be live on our Instagram coming up this week. So if you guys would like the opportunity to win the line of Fountain, the full line, all 3 flavors, basically for you guys to take home, keep a lookout on Vaping with the Ohmies and OPMH's Instagram pages.
Yeah, we'll
exclusive, people. Exclusive.
Thank you, Livia, for dropping that. Livia just dropped the Instagram, so why don't you bookmark that?
Yeah, go there. Make sure you're following it, guys. Hit the notification for all the posts. That way, when it posts, it's like, oh, hey, OPMH just put up a new post. Oh, wow, it's the giveaway. Do what you got to do, because we're definitely going to be reposting it on not only the Vaping with the Ohmies Instagram, but all of our various Instagrams as well. So you guys will have multiple places to find it and, figure out how to enter and all that good stuff. I'm super excited for all you guys, because you'll be able to try one of my favorite juice lines out of everything that I've vaped. I've vaped all kinds of different stuff, but the Fountain is like one of my go-to lines that I always come back to, and it's never failed me. So
always got to have a bottle of OPMH Blast Off
coated
in your box of juice. Always have
always.
Like I have my smacks. Everybody has their juices.
If you're looking to get someone off cigarettes and need a good tobacco, Watson is probably the best tobacco line out there. What is it? It's there's vanilla in tobacco, cream tobacco, butterscotch tobacco, raspberry tobacco, coffee tobacco. There's something for everyone. It's really awesome.
It's one of those lines that. Oh, sorry, go.
Be quiet, Chase. I have 2 things. There's an OPMH group. If you guys want to join on Facebook, you just search it. You can join in. We're all a part of that. Come hang out with us there. And my other thing was, Chase, since you guys are only distro and manufacturers and stuff, where is most of your juice at, like across the U.S.? Are you more in like California, Nevada, Michigan? I know I have you, but like, where can people find you?
I would say that a very large majority of our stuff is going to be relatively focused on the East Coast in the Midwest. We are working, pretty diligently to extend our stretch over more to the West Coast. I think I've spent the past 3 months, at least a month and a half to 2 months out on the West Coast, just trying to open up new business. But honestly, a very, very large portion of our business is international. We have we actually sell to 52 different countries.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so a very, very large portion of anything that OPMH does, it is relatively focused in Italy, Greece, Malaysia, China, Japan. I mean, we have a very, very good following in a lot of those countries, and we actually recently just moved into Colombia as well. So now we are going to be serving the Dominican Republic in Colombia.
Very
well.
nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, but for online and everything, if you guys are having an issue finding a shop that carries OPMH, Giant Vapes is a very good partner of ours. Global Source, Premium Vape Supply, those are very, very good sites that have phenomenal customer service behind them. We work really closely. They, relatively speaking, can take care of you guys.
We do have a question in chat from Ender's Other Game. He said, is Canada one of those 52 states? Or 52 countries, I should say. It's 52 states, 52 countries, whatever.
It is the 52nd state.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we do have a partnership up in Canada with a couple of our partnerships. Sometimes they change the basically the label and the name just because of the way that we have to get nicotine products into Canada. A lot of times they have to put a different label on it or put a different name on it.
Yeah, because I believe he works at a shop out there, and he's probably trying to figure out where he can get a hold of it to bring it into the shop.
Yeah, he asked what's the distro.
Yeah, PM him on Instagram.
Slide in them DMs there, Enders.
You want to do business deals, you do it on your time, all right? No,
Oh man, so I'm super excited about that, man. I can't wait to try that new stuff. What were you gonna say, Dan? You got something for us?
I wanted to talk to Chase about this. I played professional baseball.
Yeah, dude.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
What do you want to know?
Yeah, like what? Like you played
Angels
in
in
high school,
outfield,
got
okay?
picked up for college, got drafted or something. Give us a little lowdown on that, bro.
Yeah, so basically I played baseball all through high school. Didn't have the best grades, so I was ever so slightly hoping for that. But yeah, so I moved to, I was born and raised in Seattle. I moved to Portland, Oregon. I played baseball for 2 years there. And then after that, I basically finished up my contract and moved over to IU, which is how I became centralized in Indiana and Kentucky. I played 2 years there, and then after that, I played 1 year of pro ball, and then retired and started moving into the vaping industry.
What team did you play for?
Oh, I played for the Kokomo Jackrabbits, which is based out of Kokomo, Indiana. They were basically a semi-pro team that housed me for about a season.
Dude,
Farm
that's
team?
awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Were you a pitcher?
Yeah, I was a right-handed pitcher. I was one of the starters. So through college, I was actually a closer. And then as I kind of moved up, matured in baseball, my junior, senior, and then that last year that I played, I was basically one of the starters.
Very nice.
That was they wouldn't let me touch a bat. I looked a little off.
Well, I've met you in person. You're a little scrawny guy, but I love you.
Yeah, no, dude. It's
I
just
wouldn't want you getting hit with the ball either.
I crowd the plate, and I'm a lefty, so baseball wasn't for me.
I'd smoke you, dude.
I just smoke you, dude. That slider would hit your back kneecap.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Baseball, that was in like Babe Ruth, like when I was like in 6th grade. I knew baseball wasn't for me because I threw righty, batted lefty, and I crowded the plate, and I fucking batted like
baseball
Ken Griffey.
bastard, dude. That's what we call you guys, a baseball bastard. I hate you guys.
Dude, I started off throwing with my left hand, and then it just like gravitated towards my right, and then I kept batting lefty.
Yo, if you stuck with that though, that would have been sweet. An ambidextrous pitcher.
Yeah, it would have been sweet, but I got hit like 4 times out of 5 at bat.
I'll tell you what, man. I had a hard time hitting against the left-handed pitcher, bro. That threw me off.
I pitched for a little while too, left-handed pitcher, and I'd always just throw it right on the outside of that bat when they swung. Went right in the catcher's gloves. Like fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was full left side.
Good to know it's good to know I'm a bastard in the eyes of all people who play baseball.
You're cool with me, bro.
Well, it's a vaping industry too. Don't feel left out.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I was about to say when I played baseball for
vape with your right or left.
I
played
vape
baseball
with my
for
left,
about-
but I hold my dick with my right hand.
Interesting.
Is that what makes me the bastard? Sorry, this isn't a family-friendly show.
I played baseball for about 10 years.
Because you got more finesse with your right hand. Your left hand's all power.
Yeah, it's true.
You played baseball for about 10 years, you said, Corey?
Yeah, and then so like I understand where Chase is coming from with that because like I pretty much grew up playing it my entire life, and then like I tried doing it in high school, and then it's just like my grades didn't go well, and it just like I took like a year break, and trying to go back into it after you take like a year or 2 off, it's hard.
Oh, it's tough,
dude.
Yeah, you've lost a step.
Because I was playing. I played my freshman year of high school. I didn't actually play for the actual high school team. I played for just like the Parks and Rec. But during the summer of my freshman and sophomore years, when I went through my heart surgery, so that kind of totally put a damper on my whole baseball dreams. So I didn't play for like years, man. I just missed it. And then, you know, one year, me and a group of my buddies got together and we joined this adult league. And we just went out there and we're like, oh man, we're going to tear this up. Dude, I went out there for like the first day of practice and about died. It was, oh dude, I was so out of shape. Like my arm was nothing like it used to. Like it was just bad. And then we practiced for a good couple months, and then we went out there our first game and just like absolutely demolished. I think the score was like 21-1 or something like that. Hit my first grand slam ever in my life. Like it was so awesome. And then the rest of the season, we got murdered. Just murdered, bro. Like we got 1 win the entire season, and it was like an epic win, and then just got like our asses handed to us every single game. It was
Dude, I
terrible.
did that with softball. Like when I got out of baseball and we're getting older, it's like let's put a softball team together. That should be fun.
Beer
Dude, I've
leagues.
been wanting to
Dude, there are some
join a beer league.
serious softball
Beer league,
players
that's
out there,
exactly
dude.
what it is,
I know
man.
teams
Beer
that
league.
train together,
For real.
It's the
go to
before game
tournaments
and after
together,
game.
dude. I'm not about that. All right, I just want to go out, catch a few balls, hit a few good ones.
Buy a 24 pack of Bud Light bottles and just drink the whole time.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just
That's what we were about, man.
My main thing,
They have
my main
a
struggle.
1.5 million of those in Kentucky. It's literally like, hey, bring a 24 rack. And
Yeah, we call them beer leagues out here. That's what we.
yeah, same.
Just,
My main struggle with getting back into baseball was like I was a first baseman. I played that pretty much my entire time growing up. I had the glove and everything. I was getting pretty good at like when somebody threw it from third, hitting the ground and being able to scoop it up
Just
and
the
everything.
short
So
picks, yeah.
after taking that time off and trying to do that again, oh my god, it was the worst thing in
Did
the
your
world.
belly catch it?
I wasn't always this husky.
Smelt.
All right, Chase, I got a
don't
question
believe
for
that,
you.
Corey.
Bottom
Yeah,
of the ninth, bases loaded. You're still pitching.
Okay.
Full count. What do you throw the guy to strike him out? What's your best pitch?
Dude, slider. It was always the slider. It could be a 0-0 count.
Trying
It
to
could
take
be a
out people's
3-0
knees. You
count.
heard him.
Especially
Yeah,
if they're
dude.
lefty.
It could be a 3-0 count. Like, I'm still throwing a slider. I mean, back in the day when I played baseball, it was my slider would hit the strike zone 99% of the time, and the fastball was like maybe.
All right.
yeah, let's give it a
If
shot.
it was a mean slider, it's just terrifying to go up against. It
I
really
love
is.
sliders, man. I can eat 2 or 3 of them and be like, I got 3 more from like a
I always thought if you were more like a crave case kind of guy, Swags.
All right,
What-
guys.
Hold on. What was your top 3 pitches? You said the slider. What else was your go-tos? What else would you go? Did you throw a mean changeup or?
I threw a really good change. It was like a 12-6 drop off change. I mean, it was solid, but I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't super accurate with it. I would bury it a lot. It was more of those like I want you to chase it in the dirt. And then my 2-seam moved like literally 12 inches. It was just that's why I didn't throw a lot of fastballs for strikes because like I would start it at a lefty's hip and it would end on the outside corner. Like there's not gonna like you controlling that thing is just.
What was
Yeah.
the top
science
speed
in
of your
itself.
fastball?
I think I topped out at like 92-ish was the top I hit. I wasn't like a big velo guy. I'm just like I'm
Yeah.
a tall lanky guy. You know what I mean?
Drew some
literally-
nasty out there. I like it.
Literally just like a spaghetti noodle for an arm.
Nice.
Very nice. Well,
Whip it back.
we got like 5 minutes left of the show, guys, and we got 2 things we want to do here at the end of the show this week. We are going to do a juice of the week because we haven't done it in a while, and I think a lot of us have got a couple, new flavors that have, crossed our desks. I'll actually start it off. Shout outs to Dan. I know he might have said this one if he had the chance, but I'm going to take it. This Burst
Do it.
Duo, Dragon Fruit Guava. Really, really digging this stuff, guys. It's actually available over there at independentvaporcompany.com. So if you guys want to go pick some up there, you can go check it out. Really good stuff. It's nice and it's sweet without being crazy, like overpoweringly sweet. It actually kind of reminds me of like that dragon fruit, the dragon fruit vitamin water with just a little touch of guava, and it's really good, guys. Really dig that. What about you, Dan? What's your juice this week, bro?
Dude, it is in now in my legacies. Even though I don't have it set up right now, I've been vaping it all day in the past couple days. I cracked this bottle on Saturday,
Yes.
and it's already half gone. I'm gonna have to get more of this when he comes out with it. That Banana Land is phenomenal. Don't listen to Canadians. They don't know what they're talking about when they say it tastes bad. They just have terrible taste buds up there. Okay, they don't know what they're talking about. I'll pass it over to Poon Sauce.
I'm gonna go with Cycle Crawler, also available at. Isn't this on the online shop, or is it just a brick?
That is online. I may be out in 3 in Psycho Crueler, but I'm due for a reorder.
Cycle
So
Crawler
yeah,
is just awesome. I love it. And it's just on a series vape, it just makes it that much better because the
side note, I got Peanut Butter Party coming to me, so I can't wait to try that.
and that's
Nice.
mine. How about Swags? What about you?
You wrap this one? What the heck? I was just changing a battery. My juice this week is 5150. Boom. Focus. Thank you. Detox. The apple crisp creme brulee.
Ooh, very
This
nice.
stuff so freaking. I'm already halfway through my 60 mil, and I need more. That's me. I'm gonna pass it to you, Clown.
Let's see. I'll be honest, I've been like DIYing like a mofo lately.
Hey, that's cool, bro. You
and-
can even throw one of those up, dude.
Yeah, I know, pretty much. Frames pumpkin.
Ooh, he got
I'm
the
digging
Addy
it.
Tooney recipe.
Yeah, pretty much. I just put my own stupid label on it, but it is Addy Tooney's recipe. And yeah, it's rocking and rolling. I'm
Dude,
liking it.
I've been letting mine steep. I haven't touched it since I put it
I
in
couldn't
there on
wait.
Friday. So I'm gonna
First
probably
time
tap
I've
into
shown
that
no
later on
patience.
this week.
First time I've shown no patience with a juice. I'm like, I'm vaping it.
Yeah, I might be tapping back into it on Friday to see how it's done after about a
Right.
week of steep time. What about you, Chase? You got a juice that you've been vaping on throughout the week that you're really digging that you think people out there might really enjoy?
Honestly, yeah, I've been vaping on one. I don't have a bottle in front of me, but if I am gonna shout out a juice, my buddy, his name's Sergio. He owns the original Vapery. It's a line called Zen House. He just released a new flavor called Meditation. It's like a jackfruit watermelon lemonade. It's phenomenal.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so he just released that. They're bringing it into the U.S. He's got a couple different ones like Rebirth, Serenity, Nirvana. But it's basically just a tropical fruit line. But he is doing very, very well with the new release and the flavors and all the marketing and everything behind his juices. So if I was going to shout anybody out, it would definitely be him for a lot of the work that he's been doing. He sent me a sample of that meditation, and it's actually very solid.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't leave you guys this week without a dad joke because we got our man here, Oh My Lanta, the master of the dad jokes. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Dan, hit him with it. Dan's dad joke of the week.
All right. So, what do you call a blind gynecologist?
I don't know.
A lip reader.
Pusas, you heard this before the show started.
Really?
Still got him apparently.
This is
Still
Poon
got
Sauce we're talking about. He forgot what he said.
You
Six.
said this
He
before the
literally
show?
told this to us right before we started the show.
Oh,
Fuck, that was- yo, shit,
Maybe
that
my
was
most
good.
controversial one, but maybe the best one.
I like
I'm
it.
kind
I
of happy
like
I
it.
wasn't listening because I loved that thing so much. Oh my god.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So, of course, guys, thank you guys all for tuning in. Of course, big, huge thank you to Chase for joining us, man. Dude, can't wait to try out the new flavors that you got coming. And, of course, it was just an awesome time getting to chat with you and get to know you a little bit more, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, guys. I appreciate you having me, and I'm excited to send out these new flavors that we're going to be releasing. I mean, this right here is our OPMH review team, so I mean, these guys know what they're talking about. So we're going to get a couple juices out to you guys before anybody else has their hands on them, and we'll hopefully get a good review.
Very nice, man. Super stoked about that. So, of course, you guys will be hearing first from the Ohmies about, the new juices coming to the fountain line and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that. Of course, you can go check them out. If you're looking for a wholesale distribution, you can check them out, opmhproject.com. Of course, you can pick up some of their delicious e-liquids, like you were saying. If you're looking online, you can pick it up. Some of them over on IVC, like the fountain. They do have the full fountain line going on over there. You can also check out Giant Vapes if you're looking to pick up some of the other juices that they carry as well. Of course, a big shout outs to IVC for holding it down for the Ohmies. Since like day one almost. It feels like they were like an unofficial sponsor until now becoming an official sponsor. So big shout outs to them. Go check them out, guys. They got a bunch of delicious e-liquids over there at a killer price, guys. Go check out all their 120 mils right now at $11.99, which is an absolute steal. Grab you guys some Parade Maker, which is one of my favorites. That hazelnut toffee sugar cookie, just super good stuff. And then, of course,
The Last Machine.
yes, the last machine as well.
buddy.
Check them out, guys. So with all that being said, guys, we'll be right back here next Monday, same time, same place. We'll hope to see you guys all out there in chat. And with all that being said, all those positive vibes, crisp hot vibes going your way, and let's just vape on, Ohmies.